Lisa.
Okay. In a sentence, could you please explain what a parliamentary candidate is?
A parliamentary candidate is the representative of a political party who is standing for election in a general election to be the MP, the Member of Parliament, to represent a particular area. So there'll be several parliamentary candidates from different parties, and there'll be some independents, and I'm one of the main parties. I'm representing the Conservatives.
Why did you choose to become a parliamentary candidate?
Well, I've always been interested in politics, but I wanted to go out and get some experience of life, and I had a lot of experience. After I got out of university, I went to work in the charitable sector. I ran a charitable project in Eastern Europe during the communist period, which was about 20 years ago, giving away medical textbooks to doctors, and then I went to work in business for 6-7 years, and then I taught at a university for 6 years. So when you've had all that experience, and if you've got a lot of volunteering, which I've done volunteering all my life, then politics feels like the next place to go in order to have a real influence on behalf of everyone in a particular place, not just one organisation.
What are your or the Conservatives' 3 most important policies?
The overwhelming priority is to try to get the national economy back on track. I don't know if you have kind of thought about this much, but the economy is in a terrible mess at the moment, and we're in the national debt will double over the next 2 or 3 years. So if you think about that, all the debt we've accumulated so far in 500 years of British history, doubling in the next 2 or 3 years. So that's a real problem. And what it means is that the interest on the debt, which is like the interest on your mortgage, is going to go up hugely. We already spend more on the interest on that debt than we do on our schools. So we've got to get that down. That's the first thing. Get the economy and get growth moving, get people back into jobs and get the energy and back into the economy. That's the first thing. The second one is education, where I think a lot of people think, certainly the Conservatives think, that the schooling system at the moment is just too bossy and regimented, and they want to create more opportunity for young people who often go to schools that aren't as good as they could be, and they want to open that out and take a lot of the paperwork away from teachers so they get more freedom to teach, and pull back the national curriculum so that young people get more opportunity to learn the things they're interested in rather than just the things that they're being forced to learn. And of course the heads also have amazing amounts of new initiatives and things they have to do, and try and get rid of that and give them some more space, freedom to grow and breathe. And then the third one would be, that I think is really relevant here, is housing. I mean, what I'm thrilled about is that, you know, David Cameron, George Osborne, these national politicians have absolutely made clear the determination to build more houses and to clean up the mess we've got in the current housing market. Because at the moment, very few houses are being built, partly because the economy isn't working very well, and partly because the planning just doesn't allow them to be built. It makes it impossible. And that means more affordable housing as well. And as you know, we've got a huge problem of affordable housing in Herefordshire. So
what services and activities do you think young people really need or want in Hereford?
Well, as you know, at the moment they get a lousy deal in Hereford.
There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. You see far too many young people on the streets. You know, there's the one cinema which is, you know, not up to much. There's just a lack of things to do. So that's a major concern. I've been very involved in trying to fix some of those problems. I ran a work experience program. I don't really believe as a candidate just in sitting around and talking. I think you've got to do things, and then when you do things, people can see if you're any good or not. So we ran a work experience program at the beginning of the year and had 8 young people, and just gave them a sense of what it was like to be involved in politics. I've been running this big program trying to set up a youth theatre in the city, down at the Kindle Centre, which is the community centre. Yeah, absolutely, next to Asda. And what is so thrilling is, you know, we had a big kind of fundraising dinner which I organised before Christmas, and then we've just got some news that another bit of funding has come through. So as we speak, right now, Lisa, the electricians are working to put in the electrics for the new theatre in that main hall in Kindle. The roof is going to go in a couple of weeks' time, and then the curtains And we've already got tons of young people really excited about it, desperate to get in there and start using it. And they might be dancing, or they might be doing theatre and performance, and there's singing, there's a lot of music, there's lots of things they can do. So that's something we can do concretely, but overall, frankly, we need a revolution in funding and opportunities for young people, and that's not just about things to do, it's about housing, which we talked about, it's about public transport, you know, it's about all those things that make it a livable, fun city. It's actually the importance to the city of having a more higher education, a university college. I mean, I know you're going to art college, and I've been working very closely with the art college on trying to build that out. So that, and there are two reasons. One is, of course, there'll be some young people who want to stay in the county, but most ones will want to go away. But there are lots of young people from outside who could see what Hereford is like. And when you've got more of them, that in itself will regenerate and energise the city. And there are lovely cities like Lincoln, which is a very medieval city, where they've put in a small university college, and the city's just woken up. It's like flicking a switch.
Hereford has an ageing population.
Yes.
How will you ensure that more young voices are heard?
Well, one thing would be to get one point of this idea of getting a university college going is to straighten that demographic balance up. Because when you've got this V shape, lots of like a big grey swatch at the top, not many young people at the bottom.
How will you support the UK Youth Parliament candidates in Hereford? As you just said, it's quite a strong issue in Hereford.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've got to have enough funding to be able to do their thing. They've got to be given the opportunity to go out and campaign in a way that recruits people, young people, gets them excited, realises some real issues. I'm explaining all these things. They need to have a bit more power. It's rather like local government generally, it needs more power. If it had more power, better people would get excited about it and people would realise how important it was. Now, luckily Youth Parliament got lots of good people involved already, but if they have more power, then they get great responsibility, you get people really thinking about what a difference it could make, and that would really empower it, so that and enliven it. So that's what I think we need to do. I just think people are bored to death of being lied to. What they want is someone who, it doesn't matter how you cut them, they bleed the right way all the way down, if you see what I mean, you know. You know, they've got the real interests of the county or the country at their heart, and they're not going to sacrifice the national, the county interest just because some muffin told them what to do. And I worry about the government on that front, I will tell you, because they are very political. And they're not making decisions in the best interest of the county or the country, they're making decisions that are in the best interest of themselves. And you see this with our politicians, they are paying themselves and lining their own pockets, and it's time that we just swept all that away and got some real people who knew what they were doing and had a real sense of public responsibility involved.
Thank you very much for your time and for clearing up the queries that you had. Very pleased to meet you.
No, not at all. It's been lovely to meet you, and thanks very much indeed for interviewing me so well. People should vote for me because I'm the only candidate who gives us a reasonable chance of getting a better funding deal from central government. At the moment, we are underfunded in this county by £35 million a year. That's the council, schools, the hospital and GPs, the fire and rescue and the police. £35 million a year. Now just think what we could do if we had even slightly fairer funding. We've had good constituency MPs over the years from the Liberals and from the Conservative Party mainly, but we have had no one who's really been able to argue the case with the government at a high level, and that's what I can do, and in the national press. And I think I'm the only candidate who, in terms of the experience and background and skills and influence, who can do that. So I just think people have got to take that into account, and if they can support it, then with luck, I can go do a job, we can come back with a better funding deal, and we can start to make the public investment that this county needs in infrastructure and above all in young people's facilities that makes a difference over the longer term.